You have the card with your signature on it. You signed it, right? Only one like it. Take that card out and put it upside down in the middle, right where it is. Okay, there, right, you're gonna put it upside down, right wherever you want. That's good. Push it all the way in there. Now this is a really freaky part. You ready for this? Wave your hand over the cards. You're doing everything. You signed the card. I'm not even touching it, right? Turn it over. See if it worked.
What the hell? Okay. All right. That's not okay. That's not okay.
This technique is actually a skill that can be applied to your card magic to elevate it to do more impossible feats. It is a forging technique. You will be taking your spectator's signature on their signed card and you'll be forging it on the fly instantly and then using that forgery to fool them. Now, I know this at first might seem really apprehensive or risky, but it's actually quite simple and very easy to get down, and you'll master it in a few days. In the next half hour or so, you'll have the skill and knowledge to forge anybody's signature on the fly during a card routine, as long as you know how these simple mechanics work, and you will fool them with that forgery. The technique itself utilizes a skill called the blind contour. The blind contour is an art method. It has been around for a very long time. So let's get into how the blind contour works. When a person looks at something like a signature, and basically it's just a constructed set of squiggly lines that they recognize, if you turn that image upside down, it becomes different. It starts to look more like art. It looks more like objects and abstract shapes. So if you turn a signature upside down, not only is it indecipherable because it is upside down, it's also indecipherable because instead of reading left to right, it will read right to left. And once it becomes opposite and upside down, when you first look at it, it won't look like anything you're going to recognize. And especially if you're getting spectator signatures, you're not going to recognize these signatures. So they're basically just a bunch of doodles on a page. So let's get into the actual mechanics of this and how we're going to accomplish this amazing skill. The only person you have to fool with this signature is the person who signed it. No one else is going to know this person's signature that well, not even their spouse. So the whole point of this is to fool the one person, and we have tons of methods to cover that. So I'm going to have Greg here sign it, and just go ahead, and I want you to sign along the white there, Greg, and just go ahead and do your real signature. All right, bud. Thank you. Now he signed like this. I bring it up to blow on it to dry the ink, of course. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this down. And you can even do this with your hand like that. Now, when you blind contour and forge a signature, what you're going to be doing is tracing this outline with your eyes while writing up here with your hand. You're not going to take time on this. You're just going to go with it. You have to understand that this is not complicated. This is very easy. It's just one of those things where when you look at it, you're like, oh man, I'm afraid of messing up with this. You can't be. It's not that big of a deal. It's so easy to fool people with this. It becomes second nature. So I'm going to do the blind contour right now. To keep in mind how to do this right is you do not look at what you are writing at all. You just write, you let your hand mimic what your eyes are following on the signature. And don't worry about art skill because I have none whatsoever, and I've been doing this for a few years now, and people haven't caught me on it yet. So I'm going to do this forgery right here of this signature, and I'm going to show you at the speed and rate at which this can be done. Remember the beginning, middle, and end portions. We have the loop here that matches, we have this area, we have that middle squiggle, and we make sure that the line comes off here. When I show someone this at a distance, that's their card, and I show them this card at a distance, they're going to think that's their card. There are identifiable markers here in the beginning, middle, and end. They're never going to expect that you forge their name, especially not right in front of them in real time. That's the last thing people ever think about when they try to come to me and say, well, did you do, they have contraptions and devices, they do not have forgeries in their mind. I take the forgery off the pack, I'm going to obscure the signature a bit with my finger. Now, that's just natural. I'm pulling the card right off the top of the deck. It's a natural motion, and it's like you're just not even thinking about it. This is your card, and now I'm covering the part of the signature that I think may not be the best part of it. You know, right here at the very beginning. Just hold it like that. That's another way of fooling the person into thinking it's their signature. You can tear this up, hand this to the person that signed it, and when they see their signature fractalized, broken into pieces like that, there is no way for them to put it together in a visual sense in their mind. It is their forgery. They'll recognize this little loop or their little circle they like to do, and that's the whole point. Nail those visual cues that make people's signatures look distinct, like here, here, and here, beginning, middle, and end. And what you will have is something that will really fool them. And right now, I have a cameraman here. He's not a magician. He's never done this before in his life, and he has no idea what I'm doing right now. But I'm going to have him try to forge this card, my signature, right here on the fly, so I can show you just how simple it is. He heard exactly for the first time what I just told you. And I'll just hand him, face him to me so I can sign the card for you. Okay. Now I sign it like this.
Should I use my thumb? Because
You could, yeah, good point. Now, at this point, just pull the card down. Now, remember what I said about how to do this? Mm-hmm. All right, here you go. Give it your try. Give it your best shot. That looks pretty good.
Wow, actually.
He's impressed with himself, yeah.
That's sweet, actually.
Now, Greg, are you a magician?
Not in the slightest.
Did you go to art school and study this method?
I actually did go to art school, but I didn't study that much.
If I mix these up right now, could you tell me which one you forged and which one was the real one?
Actually, no, I don't think.
It's my signature. You would be like the bystander watching. You'd have no idea. But right there, guys, my signature forged on the fly, and it took you 2 seconds, man,
Yeah.
a second and a half. And he just learned it. He just learned this technique.